and welcome to Reconnect with Future Collective. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, our weekly conversations in Reconnect with Future Collective is with a wide range of professionals across many fields, frontrunners in their own fields, frontrunners who have been working in a space which is sustainable and environmentally conscious. Today we are going to be joined in conversation with Casa, who is the founder and creative director of Purearth, a responsible skincare and wellness brand. Kavita is going to be speaking to us from, So I'm just patching her in. So we're waiting for Kavita Kosa. Kavita, as I was telling you, Hi Kavita, how are you?
Hi Vidyan, how are you?
All right, lovely. So everybody, that is Kavita Kosa, who is the founder and director of Purearth, a responsible skincare and wellness brand. Kavita is a cosmetic scientist. She's an Ayurvedic practitioner, a Vedanta practitioner, and a host of other things. But today we are going to be listening to something very interesting, because in this time where we are constantly being bombarded with WhatsApps telling us how to be able to build our immunity in the time of the pandemic, there is nothing that's been left, no stone unturned. We've heard everything about how to build immunities. Today, Kavita is actually telling us something very interesting about copper and kansa, right?
Yeah.
So Kavita is speaking to us, guys, from Hong Kong, and she divides time between Hong Kong and India. And now I am going to hand over to Kavita to take us through immunity building with copper and kansa.
Hi everyone. So, in this pandemic times, and it's not that the first time there's been a pandemic, especially coronavirus, and it's been interesting in today's day and age where with modern science, validating a lot of, especially in terms of Ayurveda or Unani or ancient practices and sciences, validating simple things like where we know today curcuminoids and what they do anti-inflammatory, antibacterial effects, fighting infections. So we are seeing today how we are harking back to the past and looking at time-tested, time-honored remedies, which is not just a nani ke nuskhe. These are actually being validated by modern science. So in that context today, everybody's so concerned about immunity building, and rightly so. And we're going to see today, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my personal research over the years, not just in terms of Ayurvedic herbs and modalities, are elements. And we're going to today look at some metals like copper, kansa, and we're going to see how they help build immunity. So it's one thing we consume and ingest, nutritious foods or foods that build immunity. But today we're also going to look at something like metals, and minerals that can help boost immunity as well. So maybe I'll start with Vidyan, how about I start with some herbs, which are very readily available, which we can readily find. And I'll go through why they help with, especially building immunity. So let's see, I'd like to start with Tulsi. Tulsi has rosmarinic acid, which actually helps increase T fighter cells, in our system, which help with anti-inflammation and they help with boosting immunity. So Tulsi is readily available. Ghar mein Tulsi hoti hai. And, typically when we have a cold or a cough or a flu, especially in Maharashtra, there's something called kada. I don't know if people know what kada is, but you take a few herbs and you make like this hot concoction drink, and it really helps fight inflammation. So tulsi is one herb that is fantastic to build immunity. Then let's talk about another very common herb in India, neem. Neem is absolutely fantastic to build immunity and to fight inflammation, to fight any kind of infections, bacterial infections, and to build the immune system. So neem again, it's like, you know, there's a famous saying, neem kadwa hai, lekin wo khun ko saaf karti hai. So, you know, we will not just talk about simple topical applications. You can use all of these topically as well as, you know, you can ingest them. And honestly, the best form of doing this is to drink it in the form of tea, tisanes, you know. Of course, neem is very kadwa, so you may want to take it in the form of tablets or capsules. But certainly, you know, and it's so commonly available in India. You can just pluck it off the trees and you can boil it and bathe with it as well, you know. So neem is another one that's fantastic. Moringa has all essential amino acids. Moringa is again very commonly available, you know, across India. So moringa is another one which has A, B, C, K, all the vitamins, essential amino acids, and really fantastic for building immunity. And of course, we know turmeric. We all know turmeric today, not just us. It's become the darling of food and skincare health industry, you know. Turmeric is, we all know, you know, turmeric has curcuminoids, and we all know there are different types of turmerics, you know. There's amba haldi, there's kasturi manjal, there's lakadong from, you know, the northeast. So whatever you can find, you know, which has a high level of curcuminoids, you know, you should definitely be incorporating. See, we eat it in our food anyway. Typically in Indian meals, you know, our cuisine, we have turmeric. So that should be fine. But if you want to get a boost shot of immunity herbs, then not a bad idea to take turmeric, you know. So that aside from that, um,
Oh gosh, we've been getting so much. Yes,
disturbing
I'm
the
off the comments because otherwise your face was getting covered by the comments. So I've just turned off the comments. I'll bring them back on.
Acha, theek hai. So, so these are few of the herbs, you know, that really help. Nettle is another one. It's really powerful. Nettle is something, again, you can consume as a tea. And these are all today, like, you know, in Delhi, in the metropolises, also actually online. They are very easily available, you know. It's very important to understand in terms of Ayurveda. Uh, it's unfortunate that there are many, while we can say these herbs are readily available, today we are living, you know, it's not like 30-50 years ago where सारे जो उत्पादन होते थे or whatever grew from the soil was naturally clean. Today, that is not the case anymore. We have chemical pesticides. It's rampant. Even in the most remote places, actually, you'll find chemical pesticides are used in farming. So just to be mindful that when you are looking to consume herbs, try and get organic herbs and try and find a brand that you trust. And then use those herbs because otherwise you end up getting more arsenic and getting more, you know, uh, transient pesticides from the water and the soil into your system. So to be mindful of that. And then now let's talk about copper.
Yes,
So
copper.
questions on herbs in particular, and then we'll move on to copper and casa.
Okay, because you know the herbs we've been hearing a lot of, whether it's turmeric, whether it's cinnamon, whether it's
Yeah,
kada, whether it's this, we've been inundated with advice on that. But what I found very interesting is the fact that you have something special to tell us about the use of copper. Yes, we all know that it's very healthy to drink water out which has been kept in a copper utensil, and the copper sort of jugs and glasses are back in people's homes. But there too there is a warning apparently, which it's not good for everybody. Or so tell us a little more about the copper and the casa, which is something that people are not that familiar with.
sure. copper is a dhatu. In the Charak Samhita, these are Ayurvedic treatises and scriptures. We are blessed that we had so many rishis and munis and sages, so learned, who so freely shared with us and have left for us a legacy of all these, what we, the millennials or the more modern generation, calls nani ke nuskhe. But science today is validating, things like turmeric, which we always said, was wonderful, whether there's bruises or healing or swelling or drinking it or eating it in our food. Today, it's been validated by modern science. So when it comes to eating, um, in the olden days, there was no steel and there was no glass. And so Ayurveda would say the best metal. Of course, the rich could eat in Rajat, in silver. We know that it is cooling. So a lot of people, you'll see, they wear silver, and moti and all that. But all this has a scientific basis, no doubt. But the best metal to eat in, to cook in, is Casa. With the advent of, we want crystal and we want ceramics and we want bone china and, all these different things to eat in. But actually, the healthiest thing to eat in and cook in is Casa. Casa is a metal, which is an alloy. It is an alloy of roughly 80% copper, 20% tin. I don't know how many of you remember, but I certainly remember as a child, वो कलाई वाले आते थे हमारे दरवाजे के सामने. So what they would do is, kalai is tin. It's tin.
Yeah.
And they coat, with that bhatti, they would smoke and they would coat the inside of our utensils, cooking utensils. They would give this layer of kalai, which is this tin, and that would then, so if you had a copper vessel, they would coat it, and that made it the best metal to cook in, being able to absorb the nutrition from our foods, and also imparting rich minerals, which are essential, essential minerals for the body. So when we today talk in the context of the coronavirus and the pandemic, we know coronavirus is a virus, it's not a bacteria. And we know if we get a cough or a cold or a flu, you don't take antibiotics. When you have a viral infection, you don't take antibiotics because they're not going to work on viruses. So if we go back into Ayurveda, Ayurveda has always said that copper is not just antibacterial, it's not just anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. Copper is antiviral. So I'll say that again. Copper in Ayurveda, texts written, centuries ago, copper is known to be not just antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, but antiviral. So cooking in Casa, copper is a metal you can't cook in because it reacts. It's a good conductor and it reacts. But when you have a metal like Casa, which is tin and copper, it becomes the ideal metal to cook in and to eat in as well. Now, if we talk about drinking tamra jal, which is copper infused water, say between 4 hours to 12 hours, if you keep water in a copper vessel, and a proper copper vessel, a lot of them are welded with iron, a lot of them are not even purified copper. They have all kinds of zinc and arsenic, nickel, there's all. So you need to see, then again, today you need to make sure you get a proper high grade purified copper, pot or vessel to drink water in. But do you know that copper increases estrogen? And too much, yes, also not good. So you'll never see anywhere in Ayurvedic scriptures where they say, Zindagi bhar, all your life you drink from a copper vessel. No. You can drink from it for long periods of time, but it's not like you only drink from a copper vessel, So from time to time, you charge your water overnight and you drink it from a copper, jar or something. But be mindful that it does increase. So if you're pregnant, menopausal, or if you have PCOD, you need to be aware of this fact that it increases estrogen. So everything that can act for you in a good way then also has the ability and the potential to act for you, negatively as well, have adverse effects. So always be mindful of that. So Ayurvedic ingredients are wonderful and Ayurvedic herbs, but if you're going to use herbs that are not from clean soil, you're going to get a lot of actually toxic chemicals into your body. So that's something we need to be aware of. Now coming to copper. So this is Ayurvedic perspective. Now let's talk about the Western or the modern or the scientific perspective. In around 1854, 55, there was a cholera pandemic. And in France, there was a doctor, Dr. Jean-Antoine Victor Burke. He was a physician as well as a metallotherapy doctor. And he noticed that during that pandemic, musicians who were using brass instruments or blacksmiths or those, people who are working with copper and copper alloys were immune to the pandemic. And so he was a metallotherapy doctor. So when he started observing this, he started studying it more. And then he started actually prescribing, this as a treatment, where in 1867, in the French, whatever, Academy Science, some kind of journal, he actually wrote a paper. And he said that touching copper or copper alloys, Casa is a copper alloy, touching copper or a copper alloy to your skin can almost instantly kill the virus. Now, there was a virus in the 229, I don't know the technical number of that virus, but there was another coronavirus long ago. This is the novel virus, right? But there's been coronaviruses in the past. So that coronavirus, again in 2015, again there's a journal, and I can put it in the link, or we can share the information later. There is a journal which again did the study in 2015. They also corroborated this research done before, and what Ayurveda has always said, that copper and its alloys can, on application to skin. So we all have copper in our house. We have diyas, we have thalis, we have all kinds of, copper things at home. I was talking to a friend in Italy who was in her lockdown, and she was like, where can I get copper? Where can I get? She's, I'm obsessed. I need it now. And she went and looked everywhere online, where at least in Europe she could get it. She was like, there's no way I can get copper. But in India, we are fortunate and we're blessed. You can go to any bartan ki dukaan, and they'll definitely have copper. So using copper, touching it to your body, I mean, we really, I don't know what modern science today is, what the view is, where the research is being done on it, I don't know. But this definitely, historically, in France, this has been studied, and there are doctors who have talked about it. So copper is something, especially today, I think one should, I keep this next to my bed. I always have it, and I know this may sound really strange, but kya harz hai? I actually love to touch it, and I love to actually, just around my mouth. I love to breathe into it, breathe from it. I just like to have it touching my skin all the time, and I've given it to my father. Huh?
I think we should have actually had copper masks instead of all the other fancy masks, no?
Yes, that's honestly, really. So, my father, he has a thali, and he's 90, and he would be a vulnerable, though he's healthy, but the elderly, the pregnant, those with compromised immunities. I mean, there is no harm, there is no harm at all. But I firmly believe and have full faith in, our sages and seers and the Ayurvedic texts, and what they say. So if in terms of immunity and, viruses, if a metal like this can help us, then definitely, so I love to just have it around me, you know. I eat in my casa, and a lot of us can buy it or have it, you know. Pull out, you know, जो वो बर्तन पड़े होंगे, you'll find some casa, you know, bartan at home. So this is the research on it, and this is kind of even ancient wisdom has always talked about it. So, you know, one should definitely use it. And there's no bar, you know, if you're pregnant, if you have a little baby, you know, it's safe for everybody. Everybody can use it, you know. And
Everybody
for
copper kara or a copper bangle or a copper, you know, and babies used to also. So I'm saying yes, there is definitely. I think everybody's aware that copper is a good thing, but we'd all sort of put it away as being, as you said, that stuff that our technology-driven world didn't have any use for. But there you have it. But as you rightly pointed out, you know, Kavita, I just wanted to tell you that it's very interesting when you said that a lot of the stuff that you're getting today, which is in the shops now, because it's all the rage again to have sort of copper this thing. But it's very interesting. But up in Almora, there are the old coppersmiths, and they don't have any anymore. And when I went to them, they said that, you know, what is happening is that they are getting these machine-made copper utensils, giving it to them so that then they can just beat it and make it look more handicrafty, which is just such a sad state of affairs. But I'll chat with you about that later. Right now, you have to tell us a little more, because I'm very curious about the Casa coin that you have.
So, you know, honestly, you can take a casa katori. So, as you know, with you the other day when we were talking, when I was maybe even 5 years old, my grandmother, I remember, you know, if I had a tummy ache, I distinctly remember her taking a casa. I'm a Sindhi, so say कासे जी वट्टी में कटोरी में सरसों का गरम तेल, you know, like warm enough. You never heat up boiled water oil, but garam enough in the casa, and then she would rub it over my belly, you know, like little. And then see, rickles is something that we use so much with our babies, you know. Oh, a little bit of gripe water is so popular, but this is a very old-fashioned remedy, you know, to massage your belly. Casa is excellent. Now let's talk about the properties of Casa according to Ayurveda. So Casa releases acidity and heat, pitta, from the body. Very good for the youth, because you know youth is the age of pitta, and a lot of youth have a lot of high pitta, you know, in their bodies. So it releases pitta, and you know, if you traditionally, it's also massage. You know, you can massage your feet. Now I have this very weird contraption. It actually, you know, you can massage it. This is casa, but you know, I've made it, you know, so you can massage your feet, your back, you know. Fantastic massage tool. So, you know, but you can take a casa bowl, you know, and you can massage your face with it, you can massage the soles of your feet with it, and you'll find a lot of people complain about burning sensation in their eyes. They feel very heaty, burning sensation in their mouth, burning sensation on their palms and the soles of their feet. So people like that should definitely massage, you know, the soles of their feet with casa, because the soles of your feet, because it releases heat from the body. Casa is also excellent to balance the electromagnetic field of the prana energy, to balance the electromagnetic prana energy of your body. Now, this is something that is so intangible that you don't, you know, you can say, oh, however balanced, you know, there's no tangible way to find that out. But a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends who use so I have this coin. So if, you know, so I'll show you something very strange. So I generally don't have this happening anywhere on my body, but I'll show you what happens, because I overuse my phone. So I'll show you what happens with it. A lot of people, this is my casa, and it's purified. It's the metal is tested and certified, and I've gone to pains to make sure that the alloy metals in it are absolutely pure, you know, nickel and zinc and all, you know, it's all made sure that it's all purified. So a casa tool can actually, you'll see quite often, that you get this gray black suit, on your skin. And it's honestly, it's not like everybody will get it everywhere, because I've got a friend who just did this, and she was like, somebody had slapped her, she really black. I've had some clients who do this, and it's like, they look like Halloween, panda eyes. Some people, like my helper, she took this and she did this, and she had like thappad, and she had 3 black marks like that, so people get it in different ways. But what
What is
happens for
that's toxic substances in your body?
yes, yes,
Oh,
and so we the thing is, we don't know the mysterious ways in that it works, on our system. Manifestedly, you can see various things, you can see this, or you may not. But definitely, after using it, you feel the sense of lightness. You feel the sense of you need to experience it to know. There's a distinct, you know uh, 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 you can feel that, not just pain, but you can feel that the energy is flowing. If you're very in tune with your body, the energy is flowing in a different way. So I'll show you. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen today, but so, like, here, especially because I use the phone a lot with this hand. So, I it gets really like black mascara. Kala 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 pad jata hai. And I love doing it because it releases all the tension in my muscles there. ये हो जाता है मेरा.
oh Lord.
Just
Okay.
get blacker and blacker. So I have, yeah, ये बहुत, but it just feels good because it just releases a lot
Yeah,
of the. So
that is crazy.
yeah,
That is crazy. Oh my
you know.
goodness.
So it's not कि सबको ये होगा. हाँ, my entire family, they rub it and they're like, हमको नहीं हो रहा है. And in fact, I have some people buy it and come back and say, but why is nothing coming out? That means this doesn't work. Something should, it doesn't have to, You could have pain somewhere and it doesn't have to come out like this. So it's very mysterious. It's very, yeah, like, so what's
Like,
happened, it's serious, but and you just feel so light, after having it. It's like getting a massage done. See, this is actually in the shape of a gua sha tool. And I've lived in Hong Kong 33 years, so I know TCM pretty well. And I'm very used to doing kwatsa, as they call it in Cantonese. um, so this is not used, but a horn is used, and different different stones and things are used. And you should see, my goodness, especially it's done on the back. You look like you have been taken by an alien, and you've been beaten up and brought back. The entire, and they do it with a coin. So the entire back has like coin shaped blue, purple, black marks, That's basically releasing a lot of the toxins. So this is instantly, you can see kya hua hai,
anything like this, honestly.
And it wipes off very easily. You just have to, it literally, if I take a tissue, it just comes off, and it's like mascara. You have, you've done makeup remover, So it's see, now, this is the thing. Ayurveda has uh, a wealth. It is a treasure trove, and we need to claim back our, this legacy, this beautiful ancient, science and art. We really need to claim it back. I mean, yoga is just a subset, one part of Ayurveda, But in terms of food, in terms of, the Sushruta Samhita, even in those days, if you want to do a cesarean section, if you want to do surgery, all of that, those instruments, they had, I mean, there's so much in Ayurveda to learn. So yeah, this is especially for coronavirus,
What
please.
this entire conversations that we are doing with Reconnect and Future Collective is actually bringing back ancient wisdoms, bringing back into, putting back onto the table things that we had relegated. And so whether it's biodiversity, whether it's nature, where everybody's talking about it now. But the fact is that there are people like you, there are people who have actually not just studied it, but practiced it and created products that we can all use. I'm going to be switching the comment section back on. But in the meanwhile, I want to just ask you one question while I do that. And if I don't okay, wait. Turning on commenting. So I have kansa, tableware, and all, which I had bought many years ago from Orissa, which is wonderful. But unlike your, yeah, yes, I'm a clever cookie. But unlike casa that one gets in the what one is getting in the market now, or this lovely shining piece of metal that you have. This one has like the outside coating is like a solid black, and inside it gleams like gold. So obviously, rub the inside of the katuri on my face much. So, but what is that black coating outside? Is there any way? Is there? Should one get rid of that?
No, 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 no. So a casa is something that can never be made in a machine. So
Yeah,
the whole process is sandcasting. So see, what happens is the two nuggets, these metals don't come in sheets also, and you should never buy the sheets. So they come in nuggets. Then the nuggets are ये कासारे ही होते हैं जो कर सकते हैं. You know, I have done, and this is a patent pending tool. Okay, so casa is a metal. You take the nuggets, and these kasaras are the best ones to do it. You know, किसी और के पल्ले नहीं पड़ता है. So then they in the bhatti, you know, they heat up and they create the alloy. Then after that, they have to mold it and create a sand cast. जो भी आपका, अगर you want to make this casa, you want to make this casa, so that they will create the mold. You know, it's a sand cast mold. Then they have to fire it up, and then they grind it and buff it. So when they grind and buff it, there is no need for the bottom of the vessel to be usko shine karna. There is no need to shine it at all. So they leave it as it is. But where you're going to use it, the inside, then they, you know, put it on the grinding, buffing, and then they buff it out. So
I'm good to have for eating, but I think I now want one of these, which I presume you are marketing. So is that available on your site? Or, yeah? Okay. So I know what I get. And I'm just taking a look at some of I saw one question. Excuse me. Somebody wanted to know, can you drink water in a silver glass?
Of course, yes. Milk, water. In fact, रात को बोलते हैं ना दूध रखते हैं because it's very cooling. Silver is a very cooling metal, you know, and generally, I think especially in the modern world today, we need everything cooling, you know. We definitely need cooling ingredients in every respect, actually, you know. So yeah, silver is fantastic. Yeah.
So coming back to just one question before I ask you something which I should have asked you right in the beginning, but when you said that you should not drink sort of water from a copper vessel, like you shouldn't have too much, how does one decide that, okay, this much is good and not beyond this is not going to be good? So would you say that, okay, one should actually drink water at least once a week, which has been sort of
There's
a vessel or something like that? Is there a thumb rule that you would recommend?
Yeah, see, there is no hard and fast rule as such. But see, if you are a normal, you know, healthy, normal male, female, you can drink it. I mean, even if you drank it for months and months, it's fine. But let's say you're pregnant, or you have PCOD, or you have any uh, reproductive issues, or if you're menopausal, then estrogen, you know, you need to see, you know, you need to understand, or maybe typically you get tests done, right? So you need to know where your estrogen level is, and you need to know if it is already on the high side, or if you or as when you're pregnant it may go higher or lower or whatever. Then just to be mindful of that. Otherwise, it's not like if you have tamra gel for 2-3 months at a stretch that it'll cause any problems as such. No, but just to be mindful if you are if your system has, you know, an imbalance.
Okay, there's what about women who have just delivered?
Again, oh, you mean in terms of this massaging and this thing? Karte raho, karte raho, karte
So
raho.
I
But
think that drinking from a copper vessel.
for drinking, yeah, you can. Yeah, it should be fine. It should be fine. It's not as if by drinking it for weeks and weeks there's a problem. But if your entire life you're only going to drink out of a copper,
Not
yeah.
okay. Um, it says
But
Kavita
but actually, Casa mein piyo. Actually, you can drink water forever from a Casa glass
copper on its own. So
instead of
somebody
a copper,
wants to
because
know.
that's still used in those days. There was no glass and steel and bone china and whatever. Yeah.
Here's another question for you, Kavita. Kavita, is Mandarin body butter good for stretch marks from weight gain, weight loss?
No, there's no magic bullet for stretch marks. If you just delivered and your things are still silver, jaldi karo, don't let it go red and because then see the stretch marks, so that means inside your muscles have torn. Um, uh, it's stretch marks are a very difficult thing. Rosehip seed oil is fantastic, but you'll have to be patient. There's no quick fix. It will take months, 3 months or more, for you to actually strengthen scar elasticity and scar tissue and all that. But rosehip seed oil, yes, because of its pro vitamin A retinol. Mandarin body butter itna kuch nahi karega. It's emollient. It'll give you ghee lagao, yeah, but it's not going to really skin needs emolliency for its elasticity, so the more you keep it dry, the more the skin barriers compromise, the more so the more it's going to stretch and not be happy. But basically keep it moisturized, lots of emollients. And if you want to target the stretch marks or pigmentation or discoloration, then rosehip seed oil.
Well, why don't
It's
you? I think there may be a lot of questions. There may be a lot of stuff that people want to know. So if you just tell them where, I mean, they can write into collective.in. We can
sure.
send it to you. Otherwise, you give them some links where they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, they can, yeah, DM us on Instagram and we'll answer your questions. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and before I say bye to you, a question. I was quite interested to discover that actually, before you went into all this following your passion and following your dream, you were actually a lawyer with a Wall Street firm. It is a bit of a change, if I may say so. How difficult was it to make that decision?
It's been in tandem. So yes, for almost 12, 15 years, I practiced as a infrastructure, project finance, private equity, funds lawyer. But I've always, so I took a sabbatical for 3, 4 years. At one point, I started a yoga school. I'm an Iyengar yoga teacher, and we would have Mahashivratri. We'd have bhajans all night and doing the Triambakam. We'd have wonderful masters, come and do Vedant classes. So I was teaching the Gita, like leading a Gita group discussion at the stock exchange in Hong Kong. So throughout to hota hi tha, it was always integrally a part of me. Um, yeah, it's a way of life. And then finally I said, I'm been there, done that, enough of it. And I love India. I just wanted to come back to India and back to my roots. So I studied Ayurveda formally in 2000. And I've been going to my Ayurveda guru and doctors for 25, 28 years now, wanting to study, making my own, decoctions here at home, bringing the herbs here. So it's always been a part of my life. But now I'm properly like, yeah, I've hung up my boots so far. Actually, I haven't. I'm still not practicing, but I do a lot of women's rights, work. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So you're using that as well.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All one can say is it's brilliant work, and I can't wait to try your products. And I'm sure lots of people are going to be as eager to try it. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
It's
you
been,
so much. Thank you, everyone.
thank you. Bye.